Good morning, good folks. Make sure my got all my little notes and whatnot from the board on here. Good morning. We're going live. Are you live? Lit. That new Chance the Rapper song is so fire. So fire. We're gonna get into the topic today. Also going live on Instagram, so just give me a moment. And I need to order my food. Okay. Hi. We're gonna get into it today. We're gonna talk about moving forward, grieving relationships. It's really, really hard. And it's almost winter time, so cuddle time is back. And folks struggle, and I know toxic is used a lot, but I'll use it interchangeably here just for the conversation. So I want to start off with a question because we're gonna get right into this shit today. Let me post a question for y'all. You struggled with discontinuing a relationship that did not serve you in the ways you needed. Go ahead and answer the question for me, y'all. Have you struggled with discontinuing a relationship that did not serve you in the ways that you needed? Why or why not? Have you struggled with discontinuing a relationship that did not serve you in the ways that you needed? Why or why not? So I want to start this out with one of the things that I find is interesting is some of the most unproductive, unloving people use the word toxic, so I'm gonna use it for the sake of this conversation. Toxic relationships, we find ourselves drawn to almost like a moth to a fucking flame. Why is that? Right? I have a few ideas, but why do you think that is? And if we have relationships that aren't serving us in the ways that we need them to, why do we stay? Or why do we struggle to discontinue even though we know we're only going to get more of the same? Is it hope? Is it love? Is it the idea? Because I'm going to tell you what, too. I find a lot of times that folks are more invested in the idea of someone or the ideas of what they think they could get out of the relationship more than they are the actual person. Does that make sense? They're more invested in the ideas and possibilities than they are the actual person. The person means less than what the idea means to them. For example, like what the hell are you talking about? Give me some examples. I'll give you a perfect example. So let's say you have a relationship with someone and you want to be married, and you go into this thinking, "Oh, this person is awesome. I want to be married. They want to have kids. I want to have kids. They want to be married. I want to be married. They have a pretty good job. I have a pretty good job. We could both provide. However, this person is emotionally unavailable. However, this person has multiple outside relationships. However, this person is physically engaging but refuses to meet you halfway as far as roles and responsibilities. This person has made it clear that they're going to continue to do what they're doing. So you ask yourself right at that moment, is this relationship serving me in the way that I need it to serve me? But I'm going to stay. Why? Maybe because this person wants to be married. I'm a marry who wants to marry me. Maybe because this person will have children with me. Maybe because this person, can bring financial stability into our household. Maybe this person gives me the bare minimum, but at least it's the bare minimum, right? I will passively agree, as in not outwardly say, I'm going to agree to all these things, but I will passively agree as in not do anything about it. to all these other things because I know they'll give me some of the other things that I want. Um, and it really, of course, is always a negotiation and a compromise, as you know. Why is that? Why is it that once we decide these things are not, this person, this relationship is not serving us, why we struggle with moving forward, why we either become stagnant or backtrack? Anybody have any answers to that? Because I'm going to tell you what my thoughts about that are. um I think when it goes back to the ideas, what are our priorities there? If our priority is to be married, if I move forward, that means I'm taking away the possibility of ever being married, if that is something that is that important to me, right? Maybe I want to be in love. Maybe I want to feel love in whatever ways, they give me love. Um, Maybe I'm taking that away. If that is my priority, that is the most important thing to me. I'm taking that away. And who knows if I can get that again. This fear of the unknown, fear of the possibility of not getting it again. Um, I think it also comes back to like expectations. What do we expect of people? How do they show up? Hoping that people are going to come around, hoping they're going to prioritize you in the way that you like or prioritize your needs, considering those things. I think the thing about moving forward is we have to know that we're going to grieve. We have to know that just because I made a decision that I think is most productive and valuable to me does not mean it's not going to hurt. I don't know why it feels like those two things have been attached to one another for whatever reason. Just because you made a decision to move forward doesn't mean it's going to feel good. It doesn't mean that you don't still love this person. It doesn't mean that that person is not a good person. They can be the best person. That doesn't mean that they're the best person for you. Does that make sense to everybody? It doesn't mean that they're the best person for you. Are you creating a relationship where you are willing to tolerate, accept other things in an effort to get something that you want so bad while the rest of your life suffers tremendously? Does that make sense? But the moving forward part, I think sometimes, especially when you hear friends give you advice or hear you talk, and it's like, girl, move on from him, or dude, she ain't shit, she ain't this or that. But the thing is like, even if I decide to move on, it still doesn't mean I'm not going to be sad about it. And that's okay. Because it doesn't mean I didn't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means this is not serving me in the way that I need it to. So I'm going to have to make a difficult decision here. And in that process, I'm still going to grieve. I'm still going to grieve. What grieve? Get your words together, Sade. What are the 5 stages of grief? Denial, isolation, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. The 5 stages of grief. And you don't go in those stages in any particular order, right? Grieving. Even if you're grieving the idea, the possibility of something, it's still grief nonetheless. Even if you're grieving the possibility of your future that you envision, still grief nonetheless. And if you attempt to avoid the grieving process, you will be stuck. You will grieve at some point, and it may not be the time that works best for you, right? Grief has to happen. Processing, resolving, reconciling what this relationship was, what you took away from it, what patterns of behavior you created to manage that were unproductive. What behavior did you bring to the table or baggage that was unresolved that you need to work out? Like, you being able to resolve your feelings for this person. And I mean resolve as in you may always love them, but that doesn't mean that you need to continue to grieve the relationship. You need to let that happen. Being sad, being angry, being frustrated, breaking down, that is a part of the grief process. That's okay. I know sometimes it's sold as if, I choose to leave this situation. I shouldn't be sad about it. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't be frustrated. I shouldn't be pissed off. Lies and deceit. That's not a real thing. You invested in something. You put your heart, soul, spirit, love, body, efforts into something, your money, your joy. You put that into something. So it only makes sense for you to grieve it not having it anymore, even if you were the one that chose to walk away. If this person chose to walk away from you, or it was a mutual agreed upon decision, it doesn't mean you're not going to be sad. It is okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. That's where the letting that shit go comes from. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time. And I'll tell you what, especially for women, by the time that they choose to leave, they've emotionally usually given everything they got. Right? And then people, I'm not going to even just say women. Sometimes we've given emotionally everything we got. And so by the time we gone, we were emotionally gone already. So the grieving process sometimes also happens in a relationship. So, that's something to consider too. Did I grieve in the relationship? And now it was just literally a matter of me walking away. Excuse me. So when you do that, creating boundaries, keeping someone around, especially when it invades the space of your peace or your productivity, is not going to help you move forward or let that shit go, right? Letting it go doesn't mean you forgot it. Letting it go doesn't mean that you just overnight you are a new person. It does not work that way. Let that shit go means give yourself the opportunity to move forward. Do the work, grieve, process, resolve, reconcile. Do the work. Don't expect that it's just going to happen just because you made a decision. What does all this mean? In any space of our lives where we've invested things and we have to make very difficult decisions every day to work in what we believe is our best interest, there's still reconciling that needs to happen. It's still resolving that needs to happen. Even if we made a decision that we thought was in our best interest, it's still some resolve that has to happen. It just doesn't happen on its own, or our body will do it for us, even if we choose not to. Developing anxiety out of nowhere, developing symptoms of depression out of nowhere. All that stuff does not happen on accident, guys. It doesn't happen on accident. When you've gone through something traumatic or even made a really challenging decision, you still have to give yourself grace, time, effort. Don't let people fool you into believing the shit is you snap back. Like you will, but you need time. And that time, is not defined. So give yourself some time. Be graceful with yourself and gracious with yourself. Don't, you don't have to fake the funk for nobody. You're sad. You're not okay. You need to talk, whatever that looks like. You don't have to fake the funk for anybody. I hope not for nothing you just feel obligated to take care of yourself. You feel obligated to feel your feelings in whatever way they show up for you and manage them in a productive way. And that's all. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be everything that you thought it was. It may look a little different, right? And that's okay too. That's okay too. So I hope this was helpful. Please tag a friend. Share your thoughts, ideas, comments. Maybe you completely disagree with what I'm saying. That's cool too. Let me know what you think, and I will see y'all next Monday. Peace.